All right.
So your name, your age, and where you live.
My name is Darius Glover. I'm 22 years old, and I'm from Baltimore, Maryland, but I live in Tallahassee, Florida.
Cool. So you're looking into the camera and you're talking to the camera, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So go ahead and describe yourself.
Uh, like my personality, or
Yeah, like what you're like with your personality.
I would just say that I don't know, I'm hardworking, fun. I just like to have a good time. Uh, I'm very lighthearted. I don't really think about things too much, so I mean,
Very cool. So how would your friends describe you? What would they label you as? Are you like the life of the party? Are you more down to earth, or what would they label you as?
I think my friends would label me as life of the party, but like I said before, I'm the life of the party without even being the life of the party. Like without even trying, it just kind of happens because I like to have a good time and I like to joke around and play. So I don't know. I just
So
somehow
what
I ended up.
what's the party like when you're the life of the party? What are you guys doing? Do you guys go to house parties? Do you go out to restaurants, or what do you do for fun with your friends?
I mean, yeah. Sometimes when I'm not training, we go out. Go like in Tallahassee. We go out on the town and just have a good time. Go to go out to eat. We like Mexican. I like Mexican a lot. Mexican food, and we go bowling. We go play mini golf. We go just hang out. Just anything to find of interest. We just like to do adventurous things. So we go karting. Just
Okay.
anything that's fun.
Do you guys go to the clubs at all, or is that not really your scene?
Yeah, I go to the club sometimes. It's kind of funny because sometimes my friends I'll sit on a bar stool and I'll say, "Hey, get in my chair." I let them get in my chair and wheel around in my wheelchair, and everyone like looks at them and then they stand up and I'm like, "Wait, you're not in the wheelchair." So we like to just like play jokes on people and have fun. But yeah, just go to the club sometimes, and when I'm not training, just go to the clubs and have some fun.
That's so funny. Okay, cool. So let's talk a little bit about motocross. So kind of just introduce it. Introduce like your lifestyle basically.
Yeah. Well, motocross. You want to know like what it is for people that
Well,
don't
yeah, you
know?
can start off by saying like I started whenever you started. Racing. Why you started racing. Just you can start off that way.
All right, yeah. Well, I started racing. I've really been riding all my life. I could ride like a regular bike before I could walk fully. So I've been on two wheels for for a long time. But I've been racing since I was about 7. My brother rode and my best friend rode, and I used to go to my best friend's house and ride his bikes and ask my parents for bikes. And before I knew it, I got a bike and we started riding. We went to the track and then we went to one race, and after that, the rest was history. I just
How old were you when that happened?
I was 7 when I started racing. Well, I got my bike when I was 7, so probably between like 7 and 8, I started racing, and from that point on, it's just I never looked back. I played a lot of sports, trying to do different sports and racing, but I really got serious into racing when I was about 12. That's when I was like, this is really what I want to do.
Okay, so then what happened? You're racing when you're 12. Were you doing like what kind of races were you doing? Was it anything really
Yeah,
like challenging? You know what I mean? And then walk me through when you were 15 and then what happened.
yeah, it was pretty challenging when I was, my best friend was always faster than me, so I had to try to work hard to beat him because you always want to beat everyone. I want to beat everyone, so I worked pretty
What's your best
hard.
friend's name?
His name's Daniel O'Brien, and
Are you still friends with him?
yeah, I'm still friends with him. He's
Okay,
actually,
cool. So if you could, instead of just saying your best friend, be like my best friend Daniel. That
uh,
way we know in case we do interview him, we know who we're talking about.
okay, yeah, yeah, my best friend Daniel. We've been friends since kindergarten, and he was always faster than me. And I started working to try to get, be better than he was, and we were real competitive. And right before I got hurt, I actually started getting a little faster than him, and July 1st, came, and I was actually supposed to be going to Florida to build the track. With my mom had some property in Florida, and I was gonna go there to build a track. And I was like, "Come on, Ma, I have to do one more race." And and I was actually watching something online where someone else broke their back, and I was joking with my mom, and I was like, "Hey, what do people live when they break their backs?" And she's like, "No, they die." And I was like, "Well, if I broke mine, I would live." And I was just joking, And she said, "You keep talking like that, I'm not gonna let you go racing." I was like, "Oh, I'm just joking. I'm just joking." And I ran out and went racing. I ran out and went to my friend's house, and we left to go to the race. And I went to do this. I did it a couple of times. It was like a jump out of a corner, and I went to do it, and it was wet, and I didn't know it. The next time I came around, and I lost all the momentum coming up to it, and didn't make it all the way. And I went over the handlebars, and the bike landed on my back, and ended up breaking my back. So I broke my back, had a hairline fracture in my neck, broke some ribs. It was bad. I was all messed up.
Okay. So what happened after that? You were in the ICU for how many days, and then you were in the hospital for how long after that at Johns Hopkins?
Yeah, I was in the hospital. They took me to the hospital, and actually, I remember my mom coming in, and it took her a while to get there. She wasn't there when I got hurt, and I remember the doctor saying, "You'll never walk again, and he'll never ride again." He was telling my mom, and I kind of woke up and popped my head up. I was like, "You don't know what you're talking about. I'll walk again, and I'm gonna ride again. I'll show you." And he didn't. He was like, "All right, I'm telling you." I was like, "Dude, I'll be walking again. Don't you worry." I thought, to me, I thought I'd be walking in a few months, but it kind of turned out a little different, but it's all right. But I was in the hospital for 18 days in the ICU, and they transferred me down to Johns Hopkins. I started doing therapy there, and like, not therapy, but just like stretching and, doing a little bit of like standing up, trying to like work out my muscles and stuff. And while I was stretching, the rods and screws they put in my back actually came out of my skin. And actually came out of my skin, so I had to go to a second immediate surgery. And from that point on, it was really tough. But I was in the hospital for about 7 months, and they let me go home on a day pass. But instead of going home, I actually went to the track. And my best friend Daniel put me on his. Well, when I got there, I was like, "Dude, I just want to ride again, man. It's nothing that's as great as riding. I just want to ride." So he put me on his bike, and he rode me around the pits a little bit. And I said, "Dude, I think I can do it on my own." So he held me up and ran next to me while I was, moving real slow. And I got a little more momentum, and before I knew it, I was holding myself up, just riding through the pits. And he caught me, he caught me once I stopped. And I went back to the hospital that night, and from that point on, I just couldn't sleep. I just was drawing sketches and figuring out ways like how can I get back on a dirt bike. And I kind of figured it out. Figured some stuff out. And my mom, I told my mom the next morning, like, "Mom," I told her what happened, what I did, and I said, "Mom, I want to ride again so bad." And she was like, "You're crazy. And that's not gonna happen." She thought I was joking. I'm like, "No, seriously." And she had already sold all my stuff, and I said, "You can either help me get another bike, or I'll get it on my own." And kind of jokingly, she looked at me and was like, "Well, you get it on your own then." I was like, "All right." And the next chance that I got to go to the track, I went and met with a bunch of people, and I told them what I wanted to do, and if I can get another bike, and if they can help me get another bike, and they said, "Yeah, we'll do a fundraiser. We'll help you as much as we can. We love you. We love you, Darius. We'll help you whatever you need." So we got money raised, and my dad really didn't say anything once I told him that I wanted to ride, but my mom was just no from the start. She's like, "No, not happening." But I told my dad, I had some money that they did a fundraiser for me. They raised money. He put up the other half, and we went and bought a bike. And before my mom came home, my grandma was actually came from Florida to live with us to help take care of me when I got out of the hospital. And when my mom was at work, and my grandma was like, "You better bring the bike in." We just went and bought it, me and my dad and Daniel. And she was like, "You better bring the bike in the house before your mom gets home and take it apart." So we took it apart so that way we can like get all the fabrications for it. And like pieces were strode all over my room. And my mom came home and freaked out. And my grandma went and talked to her. And it was nothing really that she could do. The bike was already bought. It was taken apart. And she just didn't know what to do from there.
So who else is, who would you say are your biggest supporters?
Road. Now my mom is a big supporter.
You can restate that because I'm going to take out my voice. So
Okay.
my biggest supporters.
Well, my biggest supporters are my grandmom, and my grandmom is the number one. She's my number one fan, hands down. So my grandma's my biggest supporter, and my mom's my biggest supporter now. But my dad supports me, but like I said, my grandmom is number one. You know, my brother, and also my brother, because my brother, you know, he pretty much got me into riding. So when I got hurt, he was kind of devastated about it. But now that he knows that I'm back up and I'm going, he supports a lot too. He loves it. So
Okay. So who would you say are people that don't support you? Who's not supporting you in this?
I mean, I run across some people who don't really like the idea of what I'm doing. They think it's really dangerous. Uh, but the AMA, American Motorcyclist Association, they don't really like it too much sometimes. But you know, I have trouble with them sometimes. But
So tell me about that. What do they? What are they? I want to know what kind of adversity you're facing. So tell me about that. Tell me about everybody who is, doesn't support you, who they're fearful about what you do. You know what I mean? Tell me about that.
yeah, I mean, the AMA are pretty. They're against me sometimes. I went to, you know, it's called the Mini Olympics. I went to that race, and they told me, you know, the official came to me and told me, you know, you can't ride because he listed out a bunch of reasons, but it was basically because I was in a wheelchair, and you know, we went back and forth a little, and you know, he was sticking by his ruling that, you know, I couldn't ride because it was very dangerous, and to other riders and to me, and just a bunch of stuff that wasn't true. And so I went home, I regrouped, you know, I talked to my mechanic, and I'm like, man, you know, the next biggest race is Loretta Lynn's, which is the biggest amateur national in the world. And I was like, you know, what if I made it to Loretta's? He's like, that would be gnarly. That'd be cool. How about we try it? You know, so I went and I did the qualifiers and I went through regionals and I got to my regional and it was at the same track where they denied me before. And when I got there, the same official was there. And he's like, you know, you can't ride. And I'm like, I already qualified. You know, I've proven myself. I'm here for a reason. You know, I'm here to win, to go to Loretta's. And he's like, you know, he came up with all these different rules. And I said, you know, I drove all this way. I wasted so much money, spent time. You know, it's literally blood and tears getting here. And you know, it's 12 hours, a 12-hour drive. I was like, there's no way you can tell me I can't race, you know. And we went back and forth, and before I knew it, the news stations were contacted. News came uh, in the first hours. About 500 people called AMA, and every time they would pick up the phone and say, "Is this regarding Darius Glover?" And if they say yeah, they would hang up on people. I mean, it got a little bit out of hand, and we actually had a meeting with them, me and like some other people in the industry that I know who are for me riding, uh, you know, and we came up to the ruling that now they changed the decision and I am able to ride. So, I mean, I still run into little things with them, you know, little conflicts with them and whatnot. But other than that, you know, I'm set to ride. And
Okay. What about other riders? Do they not like you riding?
it's I would say on a percentage basis, about 95% are just like happy and honored to ride with me, and you know, it's some like 5% that's not really, but that's just because I mean I don't know the reason, but I feel like because you know I can beat them and I do beat them, and you know I'm paralyzed, so they look at it as you know it's a paralyzed guy beating me, you know. So some people get mad about it, and some people don't, but
Hmm. So you, if actually, I would love for you to actually kind of introduce yourself. I'm thinking of a way to open this would be, so you are. It's called motocross. You're paraplegic, right?
yes, I'm a paraplegic, paralyzed from the
So,
waist
but
down.
you're an able-bodied motocross. Is that what they call it?
Well, it's just motocross is not really with motocross it's not really any paraplegics in the sport. I'm the first paraplegic to be cleared by the AMA to race against other athletes that don't have a disability. I'm the only one with a disability, so it's kind of it's kind of hard. But motocross is you need your legs pretty much. It's a sport where your legs are a big part of riding in technique, and I found a way to do it without using my legs because I don't have the use of my legs being a paraplegic. So I'm actually strapped to the motorcycle, and and that's how I ride. I ride actually sitting down, strapped to the bike.
So tell me, what are the mechanics of that? Do you have did you make it yourself? How you can ride? Like, how do you even stay on the bike? Like,
Well,
how does that work?
my mechanic actually helps me get on my bike, and once I get on, he locks my legs. And I have a cage around my legs in case I fall over. So, uh, in case I fall over, I don't hurt my legs. And I have the back brake mounted up near my handlebars and also with the clutch. And uh, actually, a place called Recluse Motorsports, they make a clutch where your bike stays on even if you do fall over. So I have that in my bike, and that's how I'm able to ride. And pretty much me and some friends of mine, my friend Daniel and some other friends came together, and we got a bike made specially for me.
So what's your mechanic's name?
Keith.
So you live with your mechanic, right?
Yeah, Keith. My mechanic Keith lives with me, and so when I need to load my bike up or unload it or work on it, he does that for me, and he helps me if I fall over. Obviously I can't pick myself up, so he helps me up, and that's how I ride.
Is it hard? Is it hard because you can't just go out and ride on your bike? You have to make sure that he's around and stuff like that. Like, tell me a little bit about how before you could just kind of like jump on your bike, and now it's kind of a process if you really want to go out.
Yeah, it's very hard because I'm pretty independent, and I do everything I do. I cook, I get in my truck myself and out of my truck. I like to do a lot of things, without help. But that's the one thing that I can't do by myself because I can't push the bike up in the truck and I can't pull it down. And so it's kind of like you have to plan ahead of what you're gonna do. So like if I want to ride, and I gotta tell, hey, tomorrow we have to do this and this, and this is what I need you to do. So we have to stay in communication, and even because we travel a lot, and sometimes I have to travel, and he stays back or wherever we're going, So it's a lot of planning and preparation that goes into it, and you just got to make sure that we're both on the same page. So that's challenging. It's very hard, even if sometimes like I want to go somewhere and he wants to go somewhere different, and we have to come together and compromise on where we're going to go. So
Yeah.
that plays a
What
big
about your
part.
trainer? Do you need your like? How does he play a role in this?
He plays a big role too. I mean, because
So
sometimes,
if you could introduce him, like your trainer,
yeah,
his name, you know what I mean? He plays a big role and how it works.
yeah, my trainer Chris, his name's Chris Cousins. He helps out a lot too because without Keith, when Keith can't come or if he has something else to do, then my trainer comes and helps me out. And also just me being able to be an athlete, a paralyzed athlete is so hard because the sport is so physically demanding on your body that you have to be in shape and you have to be ready to go all the time. And for me, in order for me to win, I have to be, I have to work 10 times harder than the average person just to be out front and be able to win and be able to be in the sport like I am. So it's very hard. And when my
Do
mechanic,
you ever feel like giving up? Do you ever feel like it's just not worth it?
I mean, it's kind of been like a life goal for me. So I've never thought of it's not worth it. It's always been worth it for me to just work harder. And I mean, I get frustrated sometimes because I know how hard I do work, and sometimes it doesn't always work in my favor. Like if I go to a race and it's 40 riders, and if I end up falling or doing bad, I know how hard I work. So it kind of gets me frustrated in that sometimes you can't put your legs down, but at the same time, it's you got to realize like this is the cards that you're dealt. So you have to play them.
Wow, that's an amazing attitude to have.
Yeah.
Has it taken you a while to get to that attitude? You know what I mean? Has this been a journey?
It's been a long journey. this whole experience since it happened, since I was 15. It's been a long journey. I've had injuries and things like that, so it's been a long journey. But I've always looked at it as this is what I want to do, and to be successful, you can't give up on it. This is my dream, so you have to keep pushing on and persevere, and not let little things slow you down. Even if it's a time that I've gotten down, then it's been someone there to come to me and say, "Hey, you inspired me," and then that just fuels me. That puts gas in my tank. That makes me keep going just because I know that from me keeping on and just pushing and not giving up, it's the next person is not giving up because they're watching what I'm doing. You know, so that also helps inspire me to keep going and gives me more drive.
Okay, so tell me about a time where you wanted to give up. Can you tell me about a time like that?
Yeah, I mean, it's I've had times where it's been very hard and like you want to give up, but at the same time you don't. You're like, I can't give up. You know, it's no way. I came too far to stop now, and I've been.
What happened that made you want to give up? You know what I mean? That made you think that it was, you wanted to give up. Was it people saying you couldn't do it? Was it physically? It was just too much, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What makes you? It sounds like you're really positive, and you definitely know what you want. You know, it doesn't look like you're giving up anytime soon. But I just want to know what actually happens. What does it take to make you, be negative? You know what I mean? Not have this positive outlook. What does it actually take?
I mean, it's just been times where I've had things lined up and they didn't go as planned. As in, I've had races lined up and then it came down to the point where I didn't have the money to go to a race, or I wasn't able to make it, or I didn't have help. I didn't have I haven't always had a mechanic, so it's been times where I've been having to find someone to help, and it's just been a struggle finding someone. Because like I said, with me, it's so much different than the average person because I do need help. Even sometimes I don't want it, but I do need help, and it just came times where it's just been frustrating. You couldn't find anyone, or you didn't have the money to go, or people have told you, you can't do it, and so many people, and I mean, it's been a time when someone told me I couldn't do it, and I'm like, I had to think about it, and it took me like a couple of minutes, but then I thought about it, I'm like, they're wrong. I can do this. Like, they don't know what they're talking about. I've came way too far. I've came through so many injuries and life experiences. Like, you can't look back and say, you can't give up because it's light at the end of it's always light at the end of the tunnel. So I just try to.
Tell me about your mechanic has to actually like be with you at the gate, right? Can you kind of walk me through that process? Because I know people are going to have questions. They're going to be like, how does he actually do it? You know what I mean? Like, your mechanic has to be with you, but what does that actually mean?
Yeah, like, because I can't, at the starting gate, they throw up a 30-second board, and that's when you're about to take off. And everyone else has their feet on the ground, holding up their bikes. And, I'm standing in that, I'm in that, that row of people and bikes, and I can't hold myself up. So my mechanic actually has to stand behind me and hold my back fender, and he takes a lot of dirt. Put it that way. He gets a lot of dirt thrown at him, but he holds my fender and holds me up, so that way I can be up in a straight position for when the gate drops, so I can take off and try to get around the first turn first, like everyone else. Or like when I come in from a race, I have to find him. I ride around until he gets back to the pit to where he can catch me so I can stop. Since I'm actually connected to the bike, I can't come off of the bike. So he holds me up, and so that way I don't fall over, or I can stop or start.
Wow.
And
Is
also,
that a difficult process?
It's a very difficult process because he has to strap me in, and after he straps me in, then he actually gets on the back and ride down to the line with me. It's a lot of trust. Put it this way: there's a lot of trust in this on my end and his. So
how did you find him? Like, do you pay him? Like, how does that work? What is this relationship like?
Yeah, well, we've been friends for a while. Just through races. I've seen him at a few races and hung out with him, and he was actually working for another friend of mine, and that friend actually stopped racing, and I went to him and asked him would he be willing to work for me, and he said yes, and at the time, I had other deals where I had some sponsors that were going to help pay, and they paid, like, we paid to bring him down to live with me, because he's from Missouri, but he stays, so, and I live in Florida, so it's a big difference, and so he said yeah, he came down, and once he got there, the sponsors folded, and the money wasn't really there, so right now it's kind of hard because I'm trying to get more deals and trying to get more deals to where I can actually, pay him like he deserves to be paid. But right now, I'm paying him as much as I can, and he's helping on, on the friend card because he knows that, I'm the only person doing this, and hopefully it'll be some reward from doing it and working. So all this hard work that we do, it'll be some reward comes from it.
Are you sponsored right now?
Yeah, I have a few sponsors, but like it can definitely be better. I just feel like a lot of people don't, like a lot of people know, but not enough people know about my story and what I'm doing and my goals and everything.
Okay. All
So
right. So, tell me about your accomplishments. Like, what have you accomplished? I feel like you just being on a bike is an accomplishment, honestly. But what have you won? Like, tell me about you. You told me you're like the fastest out of the one turn, or you know, out of like
uh-huh.
40 people. Like, what are your accomplishments right now?
Well, I'm the fastest paraplegic rider in the world, and there's other riders that ride like I do, but they don't race. They only do one race a year, and that's with other paraplegic riders. And it's only a handful. It's only a few of them, but they're they're not very competitive like I am. So I'm the fastest paralyzed rider in the world, and I'm also cleared. I'm also the only rider to be cleared by AMA to ride, against other able-bodied riders. Uh,
And
and
what are you doing right now? You're actually trying to qualify for something. Tell me
and
about what your journey is right now with that.
and right now, I want to be the first paraplegic to ever make it to Loretta Lynn's, which is the biggest amateur national in the world. And I will be the first person to make it to Loretta's. I'll be the first person to actually be there and ride on the track. So just me, making it there is already making history. I made it through my qualifiers. I have a regional this weekend, and you know, I'm already made history. I'm the first person to make it to a regional, and once I actually get to Loretta's, it's going to be a very big deal because I'll be the fastest, one of the fastest riders, one of the fastest out of 40 riders in the whole world, in the country. So
What's your end goal? What is your? Do you want to be the national title? Like,
yeah, and I want to be able to beat all the able-bodied riders and be the first paraplegic to win a national able-bodied title. So that's my goal right now, and I feel like as hard as I'm working, it can be reached, and that's what I'm pushing for.
why are you so passionate?
I've just been doing it all my life, and it's just something that I really love to do. And it just keep like when people come up to me and tell me, hey, I love what you're doing. You're so inspirational, or you helped me today just by hearing your story. I did this, or I did that. It just keeps me going. It keeps the drive in me, and it just makes me want to achieve more. Just because I know in the end that I'm helping other people, and I know that everything that I've been through, and I got to this point, so I know that I'm here for a reason. I'm here for a reason, and I feel like it's to help people and help continue to inspire.
Okay. What do you have fears about getting hurt again?
Uh, that's I really don't think about it. I really don't think about getting hurt again. Uh, I feel like if you dwell on it too much, then you will get scared and you kind of will not want to do things. But I feel like everything happens for a reason, and I feel like I was put in a situation where I was able to get back on the bike for a reason, and I kind of I just try not to think about it. I just try not to think about it too much because I've already been hurt. I've been through some of the worst, so I've actually broken my pelvis. I've broken my pelvis, and that wasn't good last year. Actually, that sucked. But I bounced back from it, and I'm here again. So I don't really dwell on getting hurt too much because I know that there's good things that come from working hard. So and keep doing and not giving up.
All right. And I know that I'm kind of focusing on some negative stuff because, we want to balance out, because obviously it's difficult, you know what I mean? Like, nobody's saying this is a walk. I think more people would expect you not to be as positive as you are, to be honest, because I'm completely shocked. It's awesome. So what, like,
All right, I know
like I
it's
said before, go for it.
no,
You
no.
want to say something?
I'm sorry. I know it's a lot. I know, like I stay very positive. I've been positive throughout this whole thing, and I know it's kind of hard, but like I've always been like a positive person and try to stay positive. And I'm so positive sometimes that sometimes that things happen and it is negative, but it's kind of hard for me because I don't look at it as negative things. I always continue to try to make sure it's positive. That like when things happen, it's like I don't know. I just try to stay positive about it. So when people ask me questions like has it been negative? Like it's negative things that happen, but I try to look at the positive outcome of it, I guess. I guess you can say.
Yeah.
So
I think when you're faced with so much, that's really maybe the only way you can if you wanna win a national title, right?
yeah, you gotta be confident. You gotta be positive.
Definitely,
Definitely,
definitely.
you gotta believe in
So,
yourself.
so you were 15. We talked about it before. Obviously, some people, like a lot of people, don't know what it's like to have, be able to walk and have function of their legs. But you do, and you have to live, without it now. What is that? That's got to be difficult in itself.
Oh,
Do you find that's difficult that you have the ability and now you've lost it instead of just being born without the ability?
yeah, because you know what it feels like. You know what it feels like
Or if you
to
could kind of like restate it, like
oh
it's
yeah,
difficult for you.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's difficult, to have your legs and then get them taken away from you, just because of you have that feeling, like you know what it feels like to run. You have that feeling of what it feels like to walk or to jump or to jump down. Like I used to jump down the stairs, and my mom would be like, "Stop jumping down those stairs." And I would just jump all over the house. And now it's kind of like she's like, "Man, I just wish you could jump one more time." And it's kind of hard sometimes because like you know what it feels like, but you just kind of have to adapt. And I mean, I think that's what a lot of people have problems with is adapting to a new way of doing things. And yeah, it sucks. You can't walk and you can't go up the stairs, or so now I just crawl up the stairs. I really, if I don't have help, I just kind of figure out ways to do things on my own, and that was one of the things. I hate looking for like handicap ramps and stuff since I'm in my chair. So I'm really good at balancing and wheelies, and I go real fast and pop the front up, and I can like actually jump on top of a curb. So I don't know. I just try to find like easiest ways to do things and not think of, man, I just wish I could walk. Because if you dwell on it too much, then it's kind of like it kind of turns into a negative thing. So you just
No, I
gotta.
understand. You're like crazy amazing. You just like pop up. Like I can't even. I fall when I walk upstairs. Like I can't walk upstairs.
Thank
Let
you.
alone like walking downstairs, and you just like popping wheelies. Like what is? What?
I mean, I've been on my own and learned how to do things. So you just have to kind of find ways to do different things, find ways to adapt to a new way of doing it. So like if you can't,
That's crazy.
yeah, if you
So what
can't,
would you say is you have to learn to adapt, obviously, but what would you say is the hardest part of your life now?
honestly, when you like if I go because I drive, like I said, I get into my truck and out of my truck by myself. So like when you go somewhere, like if I go to someone's house and they have stairs or something, and and say they don't answer their phone and I'm already there, I'm like, man, I gotta get up the stairs. So I would have to like crawl up the stairs and pull my wheelchair behind me, or somehow I would have to get my chair on top of the stairs, and that's the hardest part. That and I would say like I don't have all my muscles, so I use a catheter to actually use the bathroom. So that sucks too. But I feel like those are the two hardest parts about being a paraplegic. Other than that,
Okay. What about like love life and social life? Does it affect that at all? Is it harder to like go up to the ladies?
actually not is awesome, kind of, because you get more. I guess you could say you get more attention being in the wheelchair. So like you go up to a girl and start talking to them, and I don't know. It's kind of like you have. I don't know. They're curious, so they want to ask you a question about what happened. So it's kind of a good thing with the ladies. You can get the ladies
Would you say
easier.
you're a ladies' man?
I would say I'm a ladies man. I love beating new women. So
I love it. Oh my god. Perfect. Do you think you could teach Jenk some tricks?
I think I can show them a few tricks or two. Show them
Nice.
something.
The two of you might be trouble together.
I don't know,
Oh my
maybe,
gosh.
maybe it'll be awesome though.
That's too funny. Oh my gosh. So, one thing that you talked about before was that the players were complaining about saying that you were kind of a risk or something like that before. What when you're racing, what are those things that get in your way? You said the AMA. what else? Is there any other people that are standing? You know what I mean? I just want to know who, isn't supporting you, who don't like, this mission, that you have. Like, is there anybody that doesn't support it? Other players, anybody else?
Honestly, the people that don't support it, other than AMA, is just people. I feel like it's people that race against me, and I ended up beating. It's not a lot of people that don't support it, but the people that don't, I just feel like are a little jealous, maybe that I get more because my bike is different. So when I'm in the pitch, I get more attention from my bike being different. Everyone wants to know, like what is this setup, or how do you ride, or how do you change gears, or how, they just have questions. And I just feel like maybe people are jealous, or maybe they, maybe I beat them in the past, or sometimes honestly it's like parents. Parents, if I beat their kid, they're like, they get mad that I beat their kid and I'm handicapped. So I mean, sometimes you run across people that have negative things to say, but honestly, I don't really pay them much attention. I just I focus on my race. I focus on everything that I have to do to still go out there and perform well, and continue to be try to be the best that I can.
So you said that. What are your goals? You said that you're kind of in and one foot in and out of racing, and you want to be a motivational speaker, and you've kind of done that already. So take me through what other what else you want to accomplish despite the fact that you're in a wheelchair. Anything else?
Yeah, I just wanna show people, that there's more to life. There's more things out there to do, and I just feel like a lot of people give up too easily.
No, I understand, but what is you want to do motivational speaking, right? So talk about that. Like,
Yeah,
your other goal is to become a motivational speaker.
yeah. My other goal is to become a motivational speaker and pretty much just to share my story with everyone that I can. Um, and like I said, people give up, so I just want to be able to share my story and what all I've been through, and just to tell them, that it's more out there to do. Don't give up so soon. And
And you've done it already, right? At Johns
yeah,
Hopkins. Can you talk about that?
I spoke at Johns Hopkins, and where I spent 7 months in the hospital. I went up there and spoke to a few kids, and sometimes they call me and they get a kid that comes in that's down. They've been hurt and they're very down on themselves, and they want me to come in and talk to them. So I love going up there and just giving back to the place to help me out. So that's kind of how I got in with Johns Hopkins, just because I stayed there, and I've been so positive and I had a good journey. So I just kind of go back and share with them, how I do things and how they can do things, and how
Yeah,
it'll help
I
them.
read one of your things that said that a woman was like suicidal, and then she talked to you and said that
Yeah, actually,
she changed her mind.
it was a lady at the track. I met a lady, and she told me that before she met me, she wanted to commit suicide, and that was like, I didn't know how to react to that. But I mean, I thought that was cool that she was telling me that. Um, like I said, I don't. That was the first time I've ever been told something like that. That was heavy, so I really didn't know how to react to it. But I stay in contact with her, and like she's happy every time I see her. She looks like she's loving life to me.
And you're
But
the one that influenced that?
yeah, that's what she told me. I mean,
What did she say to you?
she came up to me and she's like, "Darius Glover, I love you." And she's like, "I know it's kind of crazy. I don't really know you that well, but just being around you inspires me so much." And she was like, I thought about committing suicide until I met you." She's like, "Meeting you was the greatest thing that could have come to my life." And I'm like, "Well, thank you so much." And
Yeah.
I actually still am in contact with her. She calls me sometimes, not as much as she used to, but she calls me sometimes and we just chat. She calls me. She's an older lady, so she has a son. I'm friends with her son, and she calls me her son. So I mean, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
Wow. Wow.
I feel like that's
So
heavy.
you want to move to California, right?
Yes, I want to move to California bad, but I don't know. I guess I have to figure out money situation.
But
So
why do you want to move to California?
it's so awesome out here. I love it. It's like it's just everything that you want to do is out here. You can't. It's really no limitations out here. Everything you just. I mean, traffic sucks. That's the only bad part is traffic. But other than that, it's pretty women out here. It's nice tracks. The weather is always beautiful. I love the heat. The weather's always nice. and and then ultimate, like my ultimate goal, I kind of want to do like I want to do motivational speaking and stuff, and eventually like I want to do like I want to be able to like show people like into that. Like I tell people my story, but I want to be able to like show them. So I want to do maybe like I've been thinking about like doing like a movie or some type of documentary or something, or writing a book, just something that can continue to share with other people.
Yeah, or be on Jinx, man.
Or be on Jinx. That would be awesome.
So you said your mom is helping you out right now with
Yeah.
like money situation and everything like that. Can you talk to me a little bit about that?
Yeah. Well, it's kind of hard being in my situation. Like I said, I'm the only paralyzed rider doing it. So what I'm trying to get more endorsements, and I feel like I'm a great marketing tool for other companies. Because I get so much publicity. On the on and off the track of me being a paralyzed rider and being different. Everyone wants to know, how I do it because it's so different. And I feel like I'm a good marketing tool for other people, other companies. So I'm really working on like like the sponsorship side of things, and just having people help me out with sponsorship stuff, of kind of like.
Okay, but your mom is helping. So talk to me a little bit about how your mom helps you out right now
Well,
with
my mom
the
is
money
helping me with
situation.
like bills and stuff. Like paying my rent and for my apartment and stuff, and like with my racing, she's pretty much just funding it right now until I can get.
So if you could say your mom instead of Shay,
Oh,
sorry.
okay. My mom is funding everything right now until I can get, on my own and get everything going. So she's helping out. My mom is helping out a lot right now.
So you really turned her into a believer because she was the one that didn't want to race, right?
Yeah, she didn't like it. She didn't like it at first, and she's seen how far I've come, and that's why she helps me out, because she knows how passionate I am about it, and she knows that it's even she tried to stop me and she couldn't stop me, and she's my mom. If anybody could stop me, it's my mom, and she couldn't stop me. So she knows how passionate I am about it, and she knows the journey that I've been through and how far I'm trying to go. So right now, I've really won her over of helping. So she's been a big supporter lately of helping me out, and I thank her for that.
And what about your best friend, your grandmother? Tell me a little bit about that relationship you have with her and why it's so special.
My grandma's crazy. She's crazy. I love my grandmother. She's crazy, but she came down once I got hurt and stayed with us, and she taught me so much. You know, of from how to cook to how to be. Just life lessons of how to be on my own. And she's my number one supporter. I talk to my grandma every day. I call her, and I let her know what new things I've come up. She gets so excited. So it's so awesome to talk to her because she's always excited. Like I can call her and say, hey grandma, I got a new sponsor, and she's like, she talks for hours. She just goes and goes, and it's just awesome to hear someone so excited about it the same way that I am. She's passionate about it just because I'm passionate about it, and that's why I love it so much.
Grandmas are the best.
She is.
They really like.
She is
Where
awesome.
are they? Like what like programs on TV like that? It's just something. It's like I don't even know. It's like you. They're all amazing like that.
Yeah, she is amazing. Like I don't know, and it's crazy because like it's not just me. Like everyone that knows her loves her. Like if you were to talk to her on the phone, she would talk to you for hours, and she wouldn't even know you. You would just want to talk to her because she's so awesome. That's how awesome she is. She just like she keeps you going.
So tell me about. We talked about Daniel, right?
Hmm.
Already, your best friend, and then you listed Kim and Cole as your other two friends. Can you just kind of introduce them and how you're friends, and if they help you, or what's going on with them?
Cole is another, and Cole is crazy. He's another one of my best friends, and I actually met him when I moved to Florida, and he was one of the first people that I met, and we've been friends ever since. Like me and him are very competitive. He's very competitive too, so we go at it a lot about different things. Like he's another life of the party. So when me and him get together and we're around other people, it just kind of turns it on. Like everyone loves it because we're both the life of the party. So when me and him get together, it just kind of, I don't know how, but it comes together, and we are like our own party. We get it. We're the people that get everyone together. Like if we have
Is he a fellow
friends.
racer?
Yeah, he races too, and but he races sometimes, but he's not like full time like I am. But he does race, but he's just I don't know. He helps me out a lot too because when before I actually had a mechanic, he was the person there that was helping me. Him and my trainer Chris, So then he plays a big part in it too. So like even when I'm done riding, he'll call me up and he's the one who actually gets things started. Sometimes he's like, hey, he calls me DG. So he's like, DG, we're going out tonight. I'm like, all right, man, if you really want to, He's like, how do you feel about it? I'm like, I don't know, let's do it. So we always ended up going out and having a good time, and we're the people that call all the other friends and get them involved. So we're always very involved. And Kim is awesome too because like she helps me with she's been helping me with like sponsorship stuff. She's very good at like writing. She goes to Florida State. So she's very good at like writing and stuff. And so like when it comes to work stuff, she's always there helping me. Even like we stay up late, helping me with different things. And she's kind of like a person that's, you know, we motivate her. So it's kind of like she loves hanging around us because we motivate her. So it's kind of like we get the fun going for her. So it's kind of awesome. Like the relationship is just kind of cool, just having her
So
around.
it's like you, Daniel, and Kim are like best friends. I mean, sorry,
Cole.
you, yeah.
Uh huh.
Wait, it's you, Kim, Cole, and Daniel.
Yeah,
Four of you, or
Daniel was my best friend because I knew him since like kindergarten, but he lives in Maryland. So when I moved to Florida, Cole, me and Cole became pretty close, and he became one of my best friends. So me, Cole, and Kim, when she's not working, she comes and hangs out, but it's mainly on a daily basis. It's mainly me, Cole, and my mechanic KP, which is Keith.
okay, cool.
So the three of us get together, and it just turns into a show. It's like on its own.
So tell me about your daily life. Like what could we expect? Like if we went to film you for a day, what is that? Like you wake up, you go out to the track, you go out at night. Like what do you, or is it something else? Like what's the routine? I don't need like you eat breakfast, just like the other stuff.
My daily life is like we get up and then we go to the track, and sometimes we come back and work out. It all depends on what we do. I don't know, somehow I always end up calling Cole and I'm like, hey dude, what do you want to do tonight? And we come up with a plan, and before I know it, we're out on a town or doing something. We always we just try to find adventure. So I don't really. It's hard to just say one thing that we do because we do so many different things. We always find adventurous things to do.
Yeah, would you say you're always training too?
Yeah, we're always training. We're always training. Like I train all the time. Like because that's my number one goal. But when it comes to when I'm done training, I just like to kick back and have fun and be around other people that's positive and love to have me around.
What about competitions? Are they on the weekends? Are they like once a month? How are they?
It all depends. They different scheduling, but it's always on the weekends. Friday.
So the competitions are always on the weekends.
The competitions are different. They're always on the weekends. They start like Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It just depends on the competition. Like qualifiers is practice Friday, you race Saturday and Sunday, and so it just depends on what race you have to do. But they're always on the weekends pretty much, unless if it's a big national race, then they'll have it during the week. But most of the time, it's just on weekends. So
kind of set up now through the end of the year. You know what I mean? Each month, what would you say you have going on? Is it a certain like event with motocross, a family event, something like that? Like if you could go, June to December. I know it's kind of weird, and you're like, I don't even know what I'm doing tomorrow. But if you could kind of like,
yeah, it is kind of hard.
Like map it out what you know.
It's kind of hard to map out, but I mean, well, right now I'm doing all the qualifiers this month and next month, and actually Loretta's the race, the national that I'm trying to do is the end of July, the beginning of August, and after that, I'll be trying to do more. After that happens, it depends on how it goes, but I'm trying to get more. I'm trying to get more deals, so it's really hard to tell. But I'll be doing some motivational speaking stuff. In November, I have actually, which is the mini Olympics in November. I'll be racing that, and then I might have a race in it's a island called Saint Martin, and they have I know a girl from there. I know a girl from there, and her dad owns a track over there. And every year they do a race. Pretty much, they bring like big riders over there just to show the ride, show like appreciate like appreciation day, I guess. I might have a chance to go over there at the end of November, and so it's just I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell what I'm.
No, that was fine. That was fine.
Yeah.
Literally, they just want kind of like an idea of what you know what I mean, have going on. Because if somebody asked me that question, I would stare at them blankly in the face and be like, I don't know what to do tomorrow. So stop
Yeah.
it. Stop the nonsense.
Awesome.
So what do you think? I just have two last questions. What do you think Andrew Jenks? What do you think Jenks is going to learn when if he comes out and he does this with you?
If Jinx comes down, I think he'll learn a lot. I think he'll learn how to have some fun, how to pick up some girls, how to no, but honestly, just learn. Don't not to judge. Just get to know people and not really judge them when you first see them. Like don't judge at first sight. Get to know people and learn how to ride a dirt bike and I don't know, just a lot like learn pretty much that anything is possible. You don't have to give up. Just anything is possible. Do as much as you can, and think as positive as possible, and good things will come from it. Just I feel like I work hard, so good things come from hard work and not giving up. And I've came this far, so I feel like a lot of good things will come from it, and just be able
Awesome.
to. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay, cool. I think that's it. I think you've actually covered everything that I wanted to go over, so you can stop recording.
All right.
Is there anything, actually, before you do that, is there anything else you wanted to share or anything like that, or do you think we covered it?
I don't know. Off the top of my head, I think that's everything. Thanks for this opportunity, and
Cool.
and I hope I get to I hope he comes down and films with me and be able to share my story with everyone else.
Yeah, cool. All right, awesome. You can stop recording.
Thank you.